said, should I kill myself?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
it was getting very.
yep.
I
very
mean,
frustrated.
God threatened to kill him when he hadn't had his sons circumcised. So he escaped another bullet.
Mhm.
It was back in verse 15.
Yeah, well, you hear now how many pastors commit suicide. So Moses was at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I think anything in life too, you get to a point where you think, this is it. How much more can I handle? You know. But
That's
he
why
could.
That's why there should be elders in the church
Mhm.
to help a pastor cope
Mhm.
with being a pastor.
Yeah, they don't have that in our.
No, but that's why we
Denomination.
have covenant groups.
Okay.
That's why every Wednesday I meet with the pastors in the area, and
You have your session.
we kind of get solid. So we're running tight on time, but then we get to verses 25 and 26 where the Holy Spirit rests on them and they prophesy. Now, what we see that they prophesied, but they did not do so again. So only while the Holy Spirit was on them were they able. So this is a temporary situation.
Those are the elders, right?
These are the 70 elders.
Were they preaching or were they, nothing was recorded that they prophesied?
No, so we really don't know what they were saying, but we do know that they were filled with the Holy Spirit. Maybe they were giving direction to the people, whatever the people needed to hear at that moment to calm down. So hard to say. And then we have two extra guys who weren't in the camp, who weren't outside the camp. It's significant that God took the elders outside the camp because this is telling us that they were set apart from everybody else. But there were two inside the camp that were allowed to prophecy. And you can read that later. So let's get down to starting in verse 31. Now a wind went out from the Lord and drove quail in from the sea. It scattered them up to 2 cubits deep or 3 feet deep all around the camp, as far as a day's walk in any direction. All day and night, and the next day the people went out and gathered quail. No one gathered less than 10 homers, and a homer is 89 bushels of quail per person.
Oh my gosh.
So these people had
Ugh.
enough to make them throw up. Therefore the place was called Kibroth Hetva, which means graves of craving, because there they buried the people who craved other food. So not everybody in the camp had to suffer this. Only those outside, because verse 31 tells us all around the outside of the camp the quail fell. So only this rabble were the ones that would have to suffer and throw up and eat quail
Be
for a month.
forced to eat quail.
And forced to eat quail for a month.
The other ones were eating manna in the middle.
The other ones were satisfied with manna, and they weren't
Oh.
injured.
This is like, this is when your grandmother tells you, one of these days you'll have to eat quail. When you complain about the food you're eating and your
Oh, yeah?
grandmother says, one of these days you're gonna have to eat quail.
Oh, I've never heard that.
You've never heard that?
No.
My grandmother
Yeah,
never said
that's
that.
the origin of the,
Huh.
if you don't like, I don't like peas, you're gonna have to eat quail.
See, I've got the poor starving children in China thing for my
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, we get that a lot.
Starving
Yeah.
children in China?
Yeah.
Still?
Well, that
Well, this was
was,
back in the 60s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Change it to North
We're old.
Korea.
When I was growing up, they were in Armenia.
Yeah. Oh, you were Armenian?
No,
That
the
was-
starving
that was
children
all
were in
part of the-
Armenia when I was
Oh,
a kid.
that's-
They moved around. Now they're in North Korea. She said, yeah.
That was so we would get, oh, never mind,
Yeah.
I almost went to the same place.
I thought it was kind of interesting on the map, then it shows where they were buried, advancing towards Canaan. So they were still on their way. Of course, in the next chapter, then they send them out and then they screw up.
Yeah.
Give them 40 days or 40 years.
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have, we've got Miriam and Aaron opposing Moses.
Because they didn't like his wife.
That was just an excuse.
Gotcha.
They were complaining, they wanted to complain about Moses and the reason why he was elevated and talking about God.
Undermining.
So they found any reason they could to talk badly about Moses. And
Kinda like us and Trump.
yeah, yeah. If you don't like the fact that Trump's a Republican, you look for anything. And if you don't like the fact that Clinton's a Democrat, you look for anything. The problem still exists.
It will always be
We'll
there.
find some reason to complain about people that are different than us, or that are doing things that we don't like, or aren't in our camp. It's amazing. Moses could have had another wife. Some rabbis think that he married later, but there's no proof that he was ever married to two women at the same time. So we're not sure. Cushite, that meant like an Ethiopian, so he might have seen an Ethiopian later. Hard to say. One troubling thing, was anybody troubled that Miriam would be struck with leprosy and Aaron wasn't?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
Why do you think that was?
Because Aaron was a man.
Let's come up with a better.
I'm not going there. Not going there.
Why do you-
Wasn't she the first to complain?
Let's see. Miriam and Aaron, so they're both together.
Oh, they're together, okay.
So there's a theological reason why Aaron didn't get leprosy.
Miriam was expendable.
She was.
He was a priest.
He
was a
the
priest.
only high priest.
So he
Only high
gave
priest.
her leprosy because
She
God
wasn't
gave
the high
her.
priest. Because God needed Aaron to be the high priest because he's the only one that had access to the tabernacle and that could make the sacrifices.
So Miriam, though, it didn't last.
No,
But she
no.
was booted to the back end with the quail people.
Right. And it didn't
Quail
get
people.
I find it funny that the Lord talked to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, all three at the same time. Told all three of them to come on. Come on, I'm gonna talk to all three of you.
And-
I'm gonna spank all three of you.
And that's a good example of how you handle a problem. When you have somebody complaining about somebody else, you don't go and correct the person, you bring them all together so you get all sides of the story. So God laid out a pretty good example. Here's how you're gonna deal with conflict. These two people are complaining about this person, let's find out if this is all true.
No triangulation.
No triangulation.
But again, the thing that I like to remember there also is God called them to the door of the temple and spoke to them face to face. You know, again, to me, it's kind of like in school when you get called into the principal's office.
Right?
You are in trouble now.
Oh, yeah. Your knees start knocking.
You
Yeah.
start quaking, and
I'm
if
gonna get in
you're-
trouble.
If you're not justified, then you're scary.
Yes.
We're dealing with this right now.
Yeah. Right, exactly. We're
I
gonna
can
solve
tell you
this
We're
that.
problem
calling your
now.
parents. That was the-
In management positions, if you've got a couple people, you may drag them both.
Oh,
Yeah.
always. You always get everybody together and say, okay, let's hear what this is.
Let's work this out here.
Because sometimes people who complain about others, if the person's sitting across the table, all of a sudden that complaint rises up.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Or they just misunderstood what they said.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe they just apologize that that's not what I meant when I said that,
Yeah.
Right.
you know.
Can I interpret this right, that God healed her right away? And in Leviticus, anybody that had any kind of disease was put out for 7 days, put out for a
I thought
while.
I read she
Then the
was put
priest
out
went
for
to look
7
at
days.
them and then decided if they were okay, but
She
she was
still had
healed
to
and
go
then put
out.
away for
Yeah.
7 days.
She still had to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was healed immediately.
No, she had to go out for 7 days.
Let's
She
Yeah,
see.
went out
maybe
7
that
days
was-
after her, oh, please heal her, O God, I pray. Then the Lord said to Moses, if her father had put but spit in her face, would she not be shamed for 7 days? So even though she was healed instantly, she was still shamed for 7 days.
Time
She
to
still
think
had
about
wait
her.
the same- she still
Time,
to
she
wait
had
the
time
same-
out.
Huh?
She had time out.
Yeah, she was in timeout.
Yeah.
but the priest didn't have to go out
Aaron
and
was
check.
like, don't let this happen to us.
But it made Aaron think twice because his sister was being punished for something he as well said. So,
Well, let's see if she was cured immediately.
no, she was by
That
the
was the
Coyo
impression
people.
I got, because a lot of times the priest would have to go out and then come back several times to look to see if
Yep.
the sores had gone away.
And I don't see any place where it says she was healed.
No. So she had to go out for 7 days. Yeah, so I don't think she was healed immediately. She had to spend her 7 days in confinement,
In disgrace.
in disgrace, and then she could be brought back.
Yeah, I took it as she was healed and then had to hide out, come
Yeah.
out.
And they didn't move while she was, and this had to be kind of a public spectacle, because she was like up there with Moses and Aaron, kind of like.
That would have been big news.
It would have been, this would have been E.T.'s exclusive.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it'd be like, oh, did you see Miriam?
NPR was there with all their reporters.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And they put a liberal spin on it.
Who would like to pray us out? Because we're not going there.